Good morning and welcome back to Bay Area Focus. Our state parks are plentiful and we need to support them. So please welcome Paul Martin, a docent from Jack London State Historic Park, to tell us more about what this park has to offer. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Okay, Jack London State Historic Park. First of all, it's the 100th anniversary of Jack London's death.
That is correct. He died in 1916. But what the park is really focusing on is his life story, all the things that he did while he was there at the park. So the 100-year idea is to kind of focus on everything that he did at the park.
Right. So many people in the Bay Area, I mean, they know Jack London. Maybe they know it just for his name on certain monuments and certain parks and
they
areas.
They read his book, Call of the Wild, in high school, and that was the last they ever heard of him.
Right.
Yes.
But he did so much more than write.
You know, the list of things that he accomplished during his life. He died when he was 40 years old, and I started being a docent when I was 40.
Wow.
And I tell people I have a lot of catching up to do. He was everything from an adventurer, traveled to the Klondike, traveled to the South Seas. Obviously, he was a writer, but he was also very innovative in agriculture. He had people like Luther Burbank to the park. They collaborated. He was a celebrity of his time. He had Houdini at the park, for example. But his entire life story, just in terms of all the things that he accomplished and then wrote about. When he was younger, his first writings was called The Typhoon Off the Coast of Japan. And it was because he got a job on a sailing sealing ship.
Okay.
Say that 3 times fast. And he wrote about that. But what people don't know is that he had to lie about his age, because he wasn't 17 yet when he went there and wrote that story.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So he lied about his age so that he could...
Well, we lied about a lot of things, but we won't...
We won't get into all of that.
No.
Okay, so what sets this park aside from anything else, or apart from anything else?
Well, it's basically the diversity of the park itself. There's Annandale and Sugarloaf State Park are also in the vicinity, beautiful parks. The thing that sets Jack London's park aside from everything else is the fact that Jack actually lived there. His cottage, they call it the cottage, was the place that he and Charmian, his second wife, lived. Charmian, after Jack died, built the House of Happy Walls, which is a museum. And then certainly one of the biggest draws is the Wolf House. The Wolf House was to be his mansion, and a week before he moved in, it burned to the ground. I say to the ground, the stone foundation is still there, so people go and visit that regularly. But really, that's the one thing, there's more to the park than just ruins. There are, if I were to say anything, it's a beautiful place to visit, whether you want to hike, whether you want to simply find a nice place to meditate or read a Jack London book. But again, along with that, it's very much, there's tours given all the time. There are, you can go to the cottage, you can see how he actually lived. The cottage is actually set up with the things that he actually had, and of course there's some replicas, but you can go inside and take a look around and say, this is where he slept. This is the bed he died on. Well, not the bed, but this is the room.
And this is a shot of that area.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. We were looking at some video earlier of the park, and a lot of kids go to this. There are a lot of educational opportunities.
Absolutely. And along with that, you're seeing right now, Transcendence Theater it's a Broadway group that they sing and dance. You've never experienced Broadway like this until you go into the winery ruins under the stars and see this kind of a show. It's fantastic. So they're doing all kinds of innovative shows and tours and things like that.
I think it's so neat, too, because you have young people coming to the park who are learning about Jack London and all of the work that he's done. Tell me about the Klondike Challenge.
Klondike Challenge is a 500-mile challenge. It's one of the many events that they're hosting this year. The idea is that you're going to walk 500 miles, similar to what Jack did when he went to the Klondike. But that's only one event. I'm going to pitch jacklondonpark.com, which has the list of all the events that are going on. There is an oak tree planting, for example, in Montini Preserve. Quarry Hill, one of their neighbors, got one of the seedlings to grow, and they're going to plant that. The whole oak tree thing, I'm going to go sideways for a minute. There's a huge oak right next to the cottage that Jack used to write under, and it's on its last legs, or roots as the case may be. So they're kind of propagating it and planting it around. So that's on April 30th is the oak tree planting. Plow Day is in May. May is going to be, Plow Day is, they bring out all the old tractor equipment. And the kids come, and it's a picnic, it's a party. There's demonstrations going on. From kids to adults, everybody enjoys it.
And there's also student writing contests throughout the year?
There is, and I actually participated a little bit in that. I've been judging that, one of the judges, there's a bunch, for years now. And students from all over the country, all over the world, send in writing essays, and they're read for not only creativity and everything else, but also to kind of see if they write in the style of Jack London. So it's really an opportunity for kids to get out there, get their writing out there and give it a shot, just like Jack did when he was, in high school. That's how he did it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And White Fang, that's usually introduced in the schools. What grade? I can't remember.
It depends on the school. I've heard anywhere from 5th grade through high school.
Right.
Personally, I read it, and when I moved to Sonoma, I said, Jack London, I know he's a writer. And my wife and I started doing the docent training, and she did a report on him, and I was like, this guy's fascinating. Yeah. So over the years, I've done a lot of training with the experts that are at Jack London. And again, his life story is just so phenomenal.
It's amazing. It really is. All right, Paul, well, thank you so much. And for more information about Jack London State Historic Park, just log on to jacklondonpark.com. Again, that's jacklondonpark.com. Coming up, 250 artists featured each year in Marin. We'll have more on that when we come back.